Hello, everyone, and welcome to Starlight Car, Gamesline's interview podcast. My name is John. I'm the host of the regular podcast, as well as the editor-in-chief of the website. And joining me this time are Bug and Brian from Nth Circle Games, the artist and writer, respectively. They have done quite a few pieces of visual novel work, including such hits as March in Line and Model Employee, but their breakout hit, Of the Devil, will be releasing episode 3 soonish. They did not give me a release date, if that's what you're hoping to hear. But they did give me plenty of other very insightful, very fun answers to queries that both I and the community wrote. So, if you're one of those folks who sent in a question, I'm fairly certain that your question was answered. And otherwise, I think this is a very lovely chat that I had with those folks. They are very, very nice, and I had a great time. And I hope that you can tell that we all had fun on this recording. So please, go ahead and listen. Let us know what you think, and check out Of the Devil. I'm not just saying this as someone who was like, ooh, they're very nice, and chatted to me. No, I love this game. And I think if you enjoy mystery visual novels, you'll love this game too. So thank you very much for your time. And let's get right into it. Hello all, and welcome to Starlight Car. This is Gamesline's very irregular video game interview podcast. I'm John. I am editor-in-chief and general host of Gamesline, and this time I will be speaking to two folks who have done irreparable damage to the minds of many a mystery fan. No, really, I think that you all have done have instead of been irreparably damaging anybody, you've been repairing our hopes and dreams in the indie mystery writing space. With me today are Brian and Bug from Nth Circle Games. Thank you both for joining me. How are you today, both of you?
Doing pretty good. Happy to be here, and thank you for the high praise. There's a lot of really exciting indie VNs coming out right now, and just happy to get more eyes on them. Because people are putting their heart and soul into them.
Yeah, like something that I've noticed from you all too is that you all are a real like rising tides kind of group where, you know, you get your stuff out there and you want to make. There is a lot of, hey, I played this and I loved it too, and just from y'all, from like your social media and everything, and that is really commendable. I guess I'll start off with asking about, since you mentioned a lot of indie VNs are out there, I'll start off by asking about both of your, history with the genre, and maybe if you want to go into a little bit about your, how Nth Circle came to be for folks that wouldn't know. Please just, hit us with the origin story.
Well, I guess for me, my first VN was, appropriately enough, Apollo Justice for the DS. I played a web-based demo that Capcom put out when it first came to the US, and
God, yeah, they did that. That was wild.
Yeah, pretty smart to put out the first free case of your mystery VN as a demo.
Yeah.
I guess getting into Ace Attorney kind of late, relatively speaking, because the original trilogy had been out by then, and at this point, the fandom there is pretty heavily divided between original trilogy and Apollo Justice trilogy, and Apollo going down to the backstory vendor, and maybe I'm not the most diehard Ace Attorney fan, but I owe a lot to it. Sure, of course. In all kinds of ways. Not just inspiration for the series, but for getting me into VNs in general. Without that, well, I was on Tumblr in 2013, so I probably would have gotten swept up in a Danganronpa no matter what. but definitely I would not have had that gateway drug to it. And I think Danganronpa is our big connective tissue, me and Pug.
For sure. A friend of mine in high school had actually lent me the Apollo Justice games. And I had never had experience with Ace Attorney outside of like the cultural osmosis of like everyone knows the objection soundbite, and that was kind of the extent of my knowledge. And I gotta say, as someone that had not experienced it before, Apollo Justice kind of bounced right off of me. So that was kind of like a rough start with visual novels for me. But yeah, in the same kind of like 2013 wave of Danganronpa fever, I got swept up. And yeah, I mean that's definitely like I would say probably where me and Brian's like strongest shared interest in like specifically like a mystery visual novel is. But yeah, I was there for like the like Something Awful Let's Plays, and then by the time of course the second one I'd actually come to the States, I'd already like, Let's played the whole thing.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of a weird history with visual novels for me.
So then how did enjoying the Ace Attorneys and Danganronpas of the world, how did that lead to creating something in that vein? What sparked your journey towards where we are now?
Well, like all great indie games, it starts with a webcomic called Homestuck that our old friend group was into during the aughts, and through Homestuck meetups and cosplay and stuff, and Bug, you were doing Artist Alley for a while at that point. We met each other through cons, and so we had that shared background, shared fandoms. I don't know if we ever did V3 cosplay at the same time. I was Rantaro.
Oh yeah, I was Shuichi when we did that.
You broke your pants?
I was like the only one that did not break my pants. There was like this weird curse on that convention where at least like 2 or 3 people had cartoon like ass seam of the pants just completely failed. Whatever technology they were using to make those back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's just like people were using the same or buying the same, like, I was going to say model of pants, but I guess, like the same, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine, yeah, people are just going like Suichi pants on Google and then grabbing something.
The first one. Yeah, so. It's one of those things that I forget isn't like a universal, like there's no point in Danganronpa where busted pants like comes in. Like that's like the one thing like that isn't touched on at any point in Kodaka's writing.
That's true.
Starting in V3, there's a lot of sprites that turn to the side, so we might have been posing.
Yeah, a little more aggressively.
Yeah.
They got that third dimension.
Make sense. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could think of, like, with seeing someone's underwear would be, like, in 2 with, like, Mikan.
Right.
That's kind of it. Yeah, huh. That seems like such a classic bit.
Right.
I don't know. Does anyone get a pie to the face in Danganronpa?
They do in 100 Line.
Yeah, that's a important 100 line subplot along the comedy route.
Man, yeah, I still haven't gotten 100 line. That's my I know that I need to get to it. I know. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I have weird opinions about Danganronpa. I don't know if we want to get into that. That's not why people are listening. It's not why people are listening. Continue.
My for all my like otaku passion for Danganronpa, I would say like my completely beyond my opinion on the quality of the story, I like Underline quite a bit. Beyond my opinion of the story, it's an amazing feat that it was made and it came out, and to my knowledge, nobody died in the dev process. There's just so much shit in that game. Sorry if I'm cussing.
No, you cuss away. You're fine.
Cool.
Someone might have gotten to like a 0 brain activity level writing Box of Blessings route, but
yes, yeah.
For the most part, people were non-vegetative. Friend Circle, we really started after and during the pandemic. I was aimless, and I gave writing a chance. and then after I tried it for like a week, I then spent the majority of COVID just writing my own visual novel. I wrote the original script for all of Up the Devil within that year, which is as crazy or as sane as it sounds to you, the listener. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, or that came into existence. So I had like the full script, and from there I could come to people like my good friend Bug and say, "Hey, this is not just I want to do, for example, a Fang and Rampa with you, and let's start designing characters." It was, "Hey, I have a story I want to tell, and in fact, you can read it right now. You can play this demo I made in Renpai, and I want some friends to work on this with me, and it's real, and it exists this much, however much a bare bones script matters to you. That's all out there. That all exists." Fortunately for me and for everybody who enjoys Of the Devil, Bug found it interesting.
I was actually one of the second wave of people in our friend group that actually took the time to read it after Brian's opining to read the short story. So I was kind of guiltily reading it, and I was like, "Damn, this shit's pretty good." And then I think it took a little time from there for Brian to be talking about I'd love to pursue it a little further, but can't draw. Who do I know that can draw it? First requirement, can draw. Second requirement, it takes a lot of trust and humility.
Oh yeah.
To ask for that kind of, because at that point we weren't even really. Of course, we all want to make our hopes and dreams. Get us the super yacht or whatever the fuck. But you can't promise someone cash that you don't have. So I sometime after reading it, I was like, here's my pitch for why you should let me draw for it. And from there it was just making it.
I think you sent me a drawing of Morgan.
I did. It was that one sketch. There's that one design history that we did. It's in the concept gallery in Of the Devil. So
Pig Morgan.
Pigtail Morgan, or not pigtail, ponytail Morgan with the pencil skirt. That was my pitch document.
Simpler times.
Yeah.
I do really like that you kept stuff like that and made it public, I don't recall if you labeled this was the first drawing of Morgan or whatever, but the fact that you had, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of my favorite things with stuff I have the Danganronpa art books or whatever. I just I love looking at that stuff where it's okay, how did we get to this character design choice? And even if I have the Japanese language understanding of a 3-year-old, I can look and see okay, this is how we got from initial okay, they were pitching this idea to the final product. It's really interesting to me, so I like sharing it.
Yeah, I personally am someone who does not, I don't become one of those lost media people that are they threw away a napkin that had a sketch on, but also when all that's, they have all that stuff for when it was Distrust instead of Danganronpa. That stuff's really cool to look at. And, right. I think it's neat to see the progression, but also, I feel when people are we need every build of Minecraft, I'm all right.
Come on. What are you going to do with it?
That, y'all. Yeah, what are we doing with this? It's going to sit on our heart.
We're not quite ready to divide fans between the premium and vanilla Of the Devil servers, but if people keep asking for it, we'll consider it.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're gonna release special hidden versions of the game with one dialogue option different, and make everyone start arguing.
What's the true canon experience for this
exactly
linear visual novel?
Yeah. So something that I thought about while I was thinking about things to ask you all was, and because I noticed how, you all have your roles in Nth Circle, and that all is, pretty apparent. But I also noticed that It doesn't seem like it's something that happens all the time, but just from picking things up on social media, it does seem like you all do sort of reach back and forth into each other's, like cooking areas, as it were, to be like, oh, here's an idea I have for this character, or this, something that, maybe you designed this character a certain way, Bug, or you read something that was written and then was like, oh, now this will tell me how they're designed. Like, how does that work for you all? Like, how sequestered are you in your development? How communal is it as well?
I think that Bug is like a really good actor. And I give Bug characters, and the characters have defined roles and beats they need to hit. But, sometimes the actor will improv, and it's really good, and we'll just keep it in there. It is like hitting those beats. In a murder mystery especially, people have roles they need to fulfill, and they have specific lines they need to drop at specific points. I'm trying to think what character went through like the biggest left turn.
Oh man,
80,
that's a good question.
But
80
that
for
was,
sure.
That was a collaborative process.
Yeah.
Because the original adjutant concept was just a robot. Essentially, like if the judge from Ace Attorney was a robot and they would just like speak up to proceed the court cases along. After we put out the new and improved version of episode 0 that had swag and class and JoJo coloring and stuff, we just needed way more sauce in the courtroom than that. And so Bug and I spent a long time concocting Homestuckian magics and Kodaka-isms and Oda One Piece body types, and we combined that all into 80 and
distilling it.
And bless you for it.
Totally.
Sort of, again, getting back to that actor analogy, like 80 just has a lot of funny faces, and so if I just had the entire script and I went down and 80 only ever did exactly what the original script said, you wouldn't see those faces so much, but I want to see those faces. They make me laugh, and so I will throw in more lines to get to see particular sprites that Bug drew that I like or are funny, or I'll add an aside or a little something muttered under a person's breath. I mean, even Morgan is more sassy than she was in the original scripts because Bug draws great side eyes and sarcastic faces and stuff, and Bug does all the bringing to life.
You're mentioning like Morgan being sassy and all that. Like I think a big part of her character, like something that is like essential to her, is when she's not necessarily backed in a corner, but when she just gets in this space where she's like, oh, I just need to do something to sort of throw the other person off, like that sprite where she's like giving that like fake smile, like that upside down A with her mouth, and she's just like, oh, of course, and she's like playing a little dumb. That is like essential to that character, and like I just from what you're saying, like I could tell that it's like, the art and the writing went together to form this entire layered character instead of it just being like, she could just be, moving from place to place and, figuring things out and trying to get away with what she needs to get away with. But there's this extra bit to the character of being like, well, I need to also throw them off, and I need to make them not think that I'm not as on top of things as I am, and all that. Like, it's just good. It's just good writing, good character development. So no, that I don't mean to be like kissing y'all's ass. I'm sorry. I do. Listen. I know that this is supposed to be the professional game journalist talking to you all, but like genuinely, I do just really love this game. Like I have recommended this to tons of people. I'm not just doing this to be like, kissing ass. I do just genuinely think that this is an all timer. I
hope so. We'll see.
You all are working on Of the Devil. Your chapter 3 is on the way. one thing that you all have also done is you have released other smaller titles, um, mostly for game jams and the like. Does swapping to other projects help keep you fresh, or is it something that you just need to be like, I just need to not look at of the devil for a little bit, or is it even a purposeful choice? You just like, well, this game jam came up and we're doing it now. Like what's the thought process behind that?
I feel like it's a little bit of because we haven't done a game jam in the past while, partially because like, oh, now we're working on Of the Devil, and it's like a thing that we're like, we're selling a product. We don't want to leave people hanging on an episode longer than they have to be. But those times that we were doing it, for me, it felt like getting like an extra like.
It's good exercise. Yeah,
you're about to run a 10K or whatever. You need to start, going extra hard, doing laps and stuff. So, we, especially with like a game like Martian Line, which is just like a ton of content, it was kind of like, okay, like let's see how like big and clean we can get something in, a set amount of time. It'll be done when it's done. We have a deadline. It's not going to be like an eternal like side quest thing. Yeah, for me, it's just like, what can we do? Like, all right, because before we made Model Employee, we had gotten like a super bare bones alpha version of the Devil out on itch.io, and it was kind of like, okay, we're adding all this other stuff. We're adding all like the JoJo cinematography. We're adding like extra gameplay mechanics and stuff. Like let's flex those muscles before we like really put that extra power into Of the Devil.
And you've done a bit of stuff with EbiCon since
yes.
came out, right?
Yeah, we got something cooking. And I was definitely like on the sidebar for Butterfly Effect, that the first of the EbiCon titles. But yeah, it's like just for me, I think the non-Nth Circle endeavors are definitely like, okay, I want to like expand my repertoire a little bit, see what else I'm doing. But again, it's that balancing act of like, Of the Devil's got to be my number one.
How has introducing the business side of things, how has that influenced the art, as it were? Like, like how does that pressure change things for you?
I feel like it definitely ups the pressure, I guess. I feel the expectations a little harder. It's like
we feel more expectation than financial pressure.
Okay.
We have like a lot of people looking forward to the stories we're telling, so we need to
right. And it's not like we're like, I never want to get to the point where we're like conscientiously like, we got to change this major thing that we want to hit because someone might get mad at us or whatever. We're gonna flame hardcore style. But yeah, it's like I feel like a greater like responsibility to like do it right, do it good. And
more responsibility to other devs. I get guilty about not upping enough people's games, or I'm a bad critic. I'm a bad word of mouth guy. I wish I was playing more indie games and posting them on our account.
It's tough because it's like I'm so busy making games. I've so bare time to like play anything. It feels like when I'm like, if I'm playing like some, I don't know, big AAA thing, I'm like, why bother when I could be playing my friend's shit?
Another thing that you all mentioned relatively frequently are your influences. You all wear your influences very openly, and that is something that sometimes that can be in a lot of other pieces of media. It could be a little eye rolling, but so far I've found Of the Devil just to be like, yeah, you know what, we've got jokes, we've got cute, we know where we come from, and it's felt more like that. So, how do you mash your inspirations into something new without it ending up feeling like epic Funko Pop Two Things t-shirts?
They said the
thing. I'm sorry.
I wonder if the setting helps.
Yeah.
Of the Devil's a pretty serious world, a pretty detailed world, and so if we cut away to do like a JoJo line drop, or we have a little Danganronpa reference sprite or whatever, it's relieves some tension and it's comedic, but it's like one line in a very large, intricate. We aren't borrowing too heavily from any of our inspirations in terms of the plot or like the overarching story, or
Sure. I mean, yeah, that does make sense. What drove you to want to write a story not just about murder and court cases and all that, but about this specific kind of world, the cyberpunk world that is, not just the Flash and the cool kind of cyberpunk 2077 style stuff. Like, the other thing that I do really like about this game is how like real it feels. Like I like there are things that like I don't know if this will be how it turns out in however many years, but it's still very believable throughout. So, like, what brought you to that?
Around the time I was writing the early scripts, I believe was when the Golden State Killer had been caught, famously because some like distant cousin gave their DNA to Ancestry or whatever, and so the Golden State Killer himself had never been arrested, or his DNA wasn't in the system, but he had left DNA behind at crime scenes. And so because some distant relative of his put their DNA into a big global database, they were able to, from there, get back to him. Of course, this all being 30 years later, 40 years later, decades of justice too late. It got me thinking about future-proofed crimes, or if the sort of big serial killer boom of the 80s and 70s and 90s, where you had sort of like these big cities for the first time, but the technology wasn't quite there. This fear-mongering, this changing politics and stuff, and sort of maybe the conditions for serial killers will never be like that again. But what will it look like 60 years from now? Technology is going to keep getting better. The databases are going to keep getting bigger. What kind of personality would you have to be a successful serial killer 60 years in the future? You can't have a big ego. You can't be writing in letters to the cops in code. You can't have a record. You can't make any mistakes. You have to be perfect. And that sort of was the driving influence behind. I wanted to see what that sort of character would be like. And I think that's where Morgan initially came from.
Because Morgan's so perfect.
She gets less perfect all the time.
I mean, that does make sense then. Yeah, like you approached it from a character angle where it was like, here's the kind of person that would exist in this world, and then you sort of mold the world around her sensibilities and her eccentricities, as it were. Yeah, no, that's that makes a lot of sense.
And Bug made her hot.
Yeah, that's right.
Now it makes no sense that she could get away from crime.
Yeah, because she's trying to escape, and everyone's just, their eyeballs are popping out, and they're turning into smoke.
A lot of foghorns in the city.
Yeah,
but it's better for it.
So visual novels, we love them.
That's right.
But I would like to ask, though, for maybe the future, or maybe just in general, what is there another kind of game that you could imagine your team making, or is there something where it's like, we could take something similar to Of the Devil and turn it into a different kind of game and it would still be interesting? Is that something that you all are interested in touching on, or are you just like, nah, this is VN Central?
Of the Devil Cart. Of the Devil dancing rhythm game. Of the Devil,
I guess,
real shooter. Okay, sorry.
To me, rather than thinking about like what genres we would or wouldn't go into, or like we saying we would never make a platformer, we would never make an RPG. I think our sensibilities put us in the 2D, 2.5D space. Not really interested in big open worlds. Definitely interested in heavy focus on story. I guess if we're just talking about dreams or, like what is Of the Devil lacking, I've always kind of wanted to make one of those games that you could just pick up and play on a demo floor, like a Balatro or something.
Yeah.
I love Of the Devil, but you sit down and you play it for like 15 minutes or an hour or 10 hours, but you don't play it for 30 seconds at a time on your phone. I think it would be interesting to make a game like that, but it's not what we are right now.
Okay. All right. And my last question that I have down here is, are there any specific VNs or just other projects out there that you would like to give a shout out to, like that are your contemporaries, or even just, hey, I think you should check this out if you like Of the Devil or any of your other work?
Kadaka would cry if we didn't bump Rain Detective Archive. He wants everybody to play that ahead of 2x2.
Raincoat.
That's one I really don't like.
I really look forward to what's next in Deltarune. I really look forward to what's next in Your Turn to Die.
I would love to know what happens next in Your Turn to Die. As far as smaller stuff goes, I'd be remiss not to plug Fairy Chess, which is a short game jam entry in Toxic Arabian Jam, which also there's a ton of really good stuff there. I'm still working through a lot of the log there. Obviously, read all the tags and stuff before you go into anything on that, because it can get pretty heavy pretty quick. But if you like the cinematography angle, the more movie-like aspects Of the Devil, there's some really amazing shots in that visual novel. Another smaller one I'll plug is Whodunit, which is a furry mystery game on Steam.
Sure.
It's just a demo for now. I'm very excited for the full release. They do some really insane stuff in Ren'Py. Both of those games are Ren'Py games that made me be like, I had no idea you could do that in that format. So if you want to be wowed by some crazy UI, Whodunit is very promising.
Insert Disc 5's upcoming VN.
Yeah.
That's... the name escapes me.
Truth Scrapper.
Thank you, Truth Scrapper.
Yay! Very excited. A lot of exciting stuff out and coming up.
For sure.
It's a very good time to be playing games. Just maybe not working in AAA studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your fan base did send in some questions as well. I put out the call. We got a good amount of stuff here. I'm just gonna pick and choose a little bit, because I don't want to keep you here for 300 years. But thank you all for sending in your questions, and thank you all for the support too. The Of the Devil fandom is very kind to me this past few days. Just thank you all for sending in questions. First off, we have some from one Bran, who asks, for Bug,
yes,
when you're outfitting characters, what kind of things do you have in mind? Are there specific fashion trends or brands within the Of the Devilverse that you try to be mindful of? Are there brands that you have made up?
Oh, man, are there brands? I have a couple recurring visual tropes I like. If I give another character 2 belts, I need someone to stop me. I'm addicted to 2 belts. So, there's a couple things I consider. A lot of the fashion that... I look at a ton of clothes. I follow a ton of fashion photo collectors, both of old stuff and current releasing fashion house stuff. I follow a lot of streetwear stuff. I go thrifting a lot just to look at stuff, and I have a folder on my phone that's just here's a cool shoe I saw at 5 different angles so that I can draw it later. I have a pretty wide breadth of inspirations. I do try to consider okay, this is a fashion thread that I'm keeping consistent over a few characters. I know with like Creek's Pod, I pulled a lot of like Train Gang concert photos, just of like the crowd and like people lining up.
Okay.
So like I'll like look at like specific like music scenes and kind of like pull on that. For I know I'm pulling on episode 2 because that's the thing that's freshest in my mind because I was just backing up my files recently and I was like, oh, I drew a lot of shit, a lot of like workwear, a lot of like futuristic looking old stuff, if that makes sense. There's a lot of like revival fashion stuff out right now, so it's mostly I'm looking at like real stuff and like trying to keep it that way. I sew as a hobby. I mentioned that I used to do cosplay and stuff, so like clothing construction is really interesting to me, so that's something I'm pretty conscientious of. And yeah, I do a couple like similar visual gags too. Made Man on Creek's shirt is like a joke that got out of hand from a model employee, one of our jam games. So there's a couple things like that, but they're mostly kind of like jokes to myself.
Have we ever talked about the original concept for Creek's Gang fashion?
Oh yeah, that was one of the only times that I've like gotten so like I can't deliver what's being asked of me. I won't do it. Brian was like, "Oh, like they should like a lot of like a
concept was a cyberpunk boncho gang."
Yeah, with like gakurons and like some like bright colors going on there, and I was like, I try to keep it grounded to stuff that I have like some kind of like connection to, just so that I'm not like I would hate to do that kind of thing dirty. And it's like I pulled out like a doc and I like pasted a bunch of the like trainer fashion and like old like Euro trash rave culture shots. And I was like, we're doing this. Itchy the Killer was on there too. That's like one of the best costumings in cinema. So I was just like, I'm taking it this direction. Brian was like, we're good. Okay.
It would have been very messy if we hadn't changed course, because then you have two rival Japanese coded gangs going.
Yeah.
Would not have worked.
Gotta right the ship sometimes. That's some of the collaboration that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Plus, I knew they all died anyway.
MCF was like, we shouldn't even be like drawing these guys. These guys should be like NPCs or whatever. You have like those little like shadowy guys in the background. And I was like, if these guys aren't cute, it's not going to matter. Spoilers, they get their shit rocked.
It makes it so much more of a like an impact because you don't get to know them intimately. I mean, there's that extra bit that you get at the end and all that, but it does hit way harder that they have faces and designs, and you can not just like tell a little bit about them from what they say to you and what Morgan says to them, but like their designs, they are full-fledged people, and I mean, Morgan stops that from happening. So it's very good. It's very interesting. I'll keep with you though, because what has been the biggest challenge working on these illustrations? And are there specific characters or assets that have pushed you the furthest out of your comfort zone?
I was never someone that drew robots before. So things like 80, some of our other Android characters. I have
maybe some things in the future.
Yeah, ooh. I think I did pretty good on one that's coming up.
Yes.
Really stretched my capabilities there. But like I don't really fuck with robots. They're like cool. I have like a ton of respect for it, and like it's not. I've never been the like when people like take commissions or whatever, and they're like, oh, I don't draw mechs. I've never been that kind of person. But it's kind of like, oh, like I have to like I do really like organic shapes and stuff. My lines are really loose, so it's just kind of hard to like. When you're drawing a robot, like the arm has to look. You have to think very 3D, and I'm very loose with it, so that's been a challenge for sure. But I think I've adapted. 80 like was a good like bridging point of like, okay, I'm starting to think about how like metal and plastic parts can come together, but I'm keeping it in like a whatever humanoid shape, and then I kind of expanded out from there. Thank you, Brian, for writing mostly human-shaped robots.
Yes, now I have one for Brian here. If you could see Of the Devil adapted to another form of media, TV, movie, stage play, etc., what would it be and why?
Like a really good, meaty HBO show.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, after the episode interview with the characters. Which, by the way, is my personal vote for how Umineko should be adapted. Because then you could do... the first tea party would be presented to the audience as if, though, it's just an after-episode interview. But then it slowly I gotta save that for later.
Don't steal.
Right,
Do not steal.
Right.
No, but I think episodic is already a good fit. And... you know, the 2000s have shown us that you can tell some really amazing, again, meaty, well-developed stories on TV. A character like Tony Soprano or Walter White, if they were in a movie, it would be more of a morality tale or just a fall from grace or whatever. But in TV, you really get to marinate with these characters and get into their psychology, so that would excite me.
Yeah, I feel like with episodic, I've had like other devs be like, "Oh, should I do like the episodic thing?" Like, and it's like it really depends because it's like I feel like it's a story like of the Devil like is built on that kind of like legacy of episodic like crime dramas, you know, dramas, stuff like that, where you can kind of do that like building overarching story type of thing. That makes a lot of sense. Of the Devil on HBO. Let's go.
Yeah. Are we gonna get any dream castings here, or is that?
I'd have to think about that one.
I'm sure that folks. I
mean, there's definitely actors that would excite me, but then I got to think about actually matching the characters' races, and then I start running out of ideas.
Well, yeah, then that'll just be up to the casting director. You know, this is it's out of your hands.
Leave it to the pros once we've got our
exactly
HBO budget.
Next one is from Jay, who says, "In the episodes we currently have now, there isn't a whole lot that signifies or displays accent, dialogue, or dialect, excuse me. Some of the few examples that currently exist are some local slang, such as mist or copper, Farah using an Indonesian swear in episode 1, and vocabulary used by either poorer or wealthier denizens. Will we see any variety in accent, dialects, or even language as a signifier of class or ethnicity?"
So, as people generally notice when they play the game, part of the setting of the Devil is that it's kind of localization agnostic. I'm not sure what you want to call that. I avoid talking about dollars, US dollars, or I don't give specific numbers for how much something costs. I won't say, this guy's speaking Japanese. In walks a Mexican man. Because part of the thrust of the story of the Devil is that the world presented here is a convergence point between state and corporation, and it's all irrespective of boundaries. With the internet, with the technology, it is not important so much where you're located geographically. And so there are still countries, but they all pretty much look like this.
I feel like this comes up in many cyberpunk things just because it's the thrust of capitalism or whatever, where there's kind of like monoculturalization, flattening.
So the characters all have real world races. It's part of their character. It informs their design or their name or how they're written. I just don't see many opportunities to bring it up in a way that feels natural and is good writing. You know, and just like, it doesn't come up much that you introduce yourself to somebody and you talk about, my mom is X and my dad is Y, but
I grew up over here.
More to this, and you know, I just lack the confidence or I have the fear of being like that one famous Clance fanfic where I think it's Keith accidentally swears in Mexican.
Mexican.
Probably got that wrong.
It's tough because I think one of the Devil's strengths is the fact that like the cast is diverse, like both in like gender composition, racial composition, skin tone, background, etc. But like I feel like it kind of like, I don't want to say cheapens because that's not what I mean. It's hard to like talk about intelligently. I don't want to present it as like, oh, this is a diverse story or whatever, because one, that would be kind of disingenuous.
Right.
We're pretty homogeneously made team. And two, like, it kind of just feels like that's how it should be. We're presenting like a, future metropolitan city, like that's going to look, like it does.
I was gonna say, like, you talked about the the sort of makeup of the environment, where like it just feels like this is a place where, yeah, a lot of people ended up either on purpose or on accident, and that is reflected by the vast variety of people that you interact with in the story.
Totally.
So, to answer the original question, I guess I'd say this story, this world is more about examining class or politics or economics or power. Race still exists in this world. I don't want to call it like a post-racist society or anything like that. It's still a part of. Again, I'm trying to make a realistic world 60 years from now.
Okay, we got some slightly sillier ones.
I like
here.
silly.
I'll just yeah. We have a question from Olivia here who asks, has Sarah canonically played Umineko, and does Umineko exist in the Of the Devil universe?
Well, it's our fictional setting, and so we get to make a lot of choices. I've decided, for example, that like some of the extinct Kimono friends are still alive 60 years from now, just because I need a little joy in my life.
Right.
And so
You're driving the car.
I absolutely believe that 60 years from now, Umineko will be taught in schools and shit. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
right.
I do hesitate to give characters the same hobbies as me. All my characters end up sharing my interests in one way or another, or they're all coming from my head, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't like putting in a bunch of characters who stay at home all day and play video games and play visual novels, because I get enough of that in my daily life. So I don't know that Sarah's a hardcore gamer. She might be more interested in Umineko as a literary work.
I like that. Honestly, I like that concept where it's just like, this is a good piece of literature, not just, Sarah's got opinions about the Tsukihime remake versus the original, like
60 years from now, the Tsukihime remake might be done.
I don't know about that. This might be kind of a this might be a little too general, but I don't know. People like to know. Do y'all have any like big favorites for who you've written and or drawn for? Is there anything that you want to shout out and say like, damn, I'm really proud that I wrote that character, or that I designed this character real good?
Oh man, I got a lot of bangers coming up in episode 3.
I remember you talking up Creek's gang there.
Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't lay a curse on these guys.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, you talked to them up, and I feel like you delivered it, that like people were pretty immediately, these are my new logos now, even though they got eviscerated.
Totally, I feel like they were good, like they were like a good like tone setting for episode 2 for sure. They were some of the first that got designed just because we knew that we needed them quick so we could start showing them off. Creek's Pod, definitely. Han, I'm very proud of. That was one of the times that like I basically got the design in one. Brian said she needs to look like this, and I said, "Yes, sir." And she was done.
Probably so. Penny for me.
Penny is awesome.
Penny's just because Penny's short and sweet and self-contained, and Morgan's the narrator. She's always talking and or thinking. So, Penny is quiet sometimes, and I think we were able to do a lot with that character in that game, and relatively limited dialogue.
And she's like a solved problem.
Penny from Model Employee.
Yeah.
Am I right? Or okay, yeah, just making sure. I was like, is there
Wait a second.
Penny that I forgot in the Devil?
Well, there is
No.
one fun fact. At one point, London's a character who has nicknames for people, and his nickname for Sarah was Penny. But then we made Model Employee, and Penny was just a better name for Penny. So that's one thing that Sarah had stolen from her, and that's why
Damn.
the two
The bridesmaid.
characters will have beef when they meet in Nth Cross Fighters, the fighting.
Yes, they're gonna have such a great intro dialogue, like PlayStation All Stars. They have the rivalry cutscene,
NetherRealm styles.
fucking yeah. What? Oh god,
But one of them's DLC, so it doesn't quite match up with what the others say.
Right.
Who are you?
yeah. Only one of them reacts. I'm showing my ass to all of the Devil fans here listening to this by bringing up for fucking PlayStation All Stars.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That's just one of those, amazing character moments where you get the little bit of backstory.
All right. So I actually got two. I got a question just about pronunciation. Is that something that you all think about when you create words or places or companies, as it were? Because someone in the Discord here, Nocebo Effect, asked what the intended pronunciation of the pharmaceutical company is. Is it Renigen?
I thought it was Renigen.
I've always read it as Redigen, sort of a reference to InGen from Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Yeah, we know how we pronounce characters' names and the in-game glossary and stuff. More complicated stuff, people ask us what are the characters for Makoto's name, and none of us are fluent in Japanese, so we'll leave that to the fingers crossed localization team. And in the meanwhile, encourage our fans to try it for themselves. I guess.
And then we have one more sort of. You have one for Bug here that's maybe might be showing your
my hand
influences a little bit more. Yeah, but Boxman asks, was the design of the court shooter in episode 2 in any way influenced by Gaku from 100 Line?
Absolutely not. No way.
Okay.
A lot of we did get a couple comments just because I think the episode 2 launch window was lining up when I was making a lot of fan art or whatever, talking about 100 Line a lot. All of the episode 2 characters were a done deal before I got the 100 Line, if I recall correctly.
Well, that was a CG-only character. I think some Gaku DNA possibly could have leaked in there.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Summer a year ago.
What about him?
He's got a hat.
Ah, a hat. Listen, if it warms your heart, maybe I was subconsciously influenced by Gaku particles.
We all are,
yeah.
Even if we don't know
Right.
it. It's worldwide.
Yeah. Worldwide sensation. Gaku Mariko.
Total global assassination. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that does it. I think those are the questions that we got, and that's what I have. Thank you so much for your time, for real. This is a real treat.
Thanks for talking to us.
I don't know if there's anything that, I'm not going to say, tell everybody when everything's coming
Release date. Drops now.
No.
We didn't tell anybody else, including the other two and Circle guys.
Exactly. But if there's anything that you want to let folks know, I guess now would be the time to say it in audio. What do you want to say to the listeners at hand right now to end it off?
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for playing.
Starters.
Okay.
Thank you for witnessing our dream.
Yeah. Our of the devil.
We hear you about the merch, and you're going to be very pleased.
Something amazing is going to happen to you.
I'm rubbing my hands together.
Waiting for it for an amazing reason.
Excellent. Because, funnily enough, one of the co-writers here. I think some of y'all might have met him, Maverick.
Yes.
I sent him to pick me up, like whatever things you had. He still hasn't sent it to
Maverick.
me. I'm so mad.
No.
I'm waiting for those keychains. I'm so mad. No. I'm publicly shaming him.
They're a precious commodity. We know. We're working on it.
Bit of a chicken and the egg with the phone charms, because the first thing we did was we made the phone 3D.
Yes.
Then then Bug just likes to draw the characters on Post-it notes.
Really tiny and fat
I think
and
that's
cute.
where the first Chibi Morgan came from, and so we started experimenting with phone customization. Give you something to bop.
It's something that, isn't banned anything too wild and out there, but it's this nice little bit of flavor where it's like, yeah, here's a little keychain doodad, and then you can have, especially like when you have the characters in their little costumes and stuff too, where it's just like, yeah, here's something that wouldn't quote unquote happen in the game, but also here's, Sarah in the like poker dealer outfit and all that.
The theater of the mind.
Exactly. So, where can people find you online? And also just where are your games available?
Well, you want to head over to X, the Everything app.
Oh yeah.
That's where we
You want to give it your banking information? Yeah, SSN, face scan, PIN code.
You can find us at nthcircle.studio.
I think
is our website.
I don't think we've done the fancy URL yet. Oh, that is our website, yes.
Yes. Of course, you can find us on Blue Sky, which is
nthcircle.bluesky.social.
Thank you.
Yes.
We are on Tumblr as Of the Devil, and Of the Devil 2. I reserve that just in case.
So don't think about it.
And you can find us on itch as well as nthcircle. But mainly, what you want to do is type in Of the Devil into Google, and it will take you to the Steam page, and you can play our game for free starting right now.
Right now.
That's right. Yeah, there's that whole chapter 0 is free, and yeah, again, not to kiss too much ass tonight, but I just remember playing through that and being like, damn, they didn't charge for this shit. They're crazy. But then I was like, no, I got to get chapter 1, and that, it sold chapter 1 to me easily. So yeah, y'all knew what you were doing somehow. I
All
suppose.
part of the plan. It was kind of a crazy idea.
Exactly.
But I think it's worked out pretty nicely.
For sure.
Eternally grateful to anybody who's given their time to check it out.
Yes.
And do you have your personal accounts that you want to share or nah?
I'm Evil Little Bug.
Using Twitter.
Yeah.
I deleted my Facebook. I haven't updated my Tumblr homepage. But
You've got a pretty good Deltarune live play thread going.
That's so true.
I stopped threading it because I'm a bad person.
Bro.
Brian nthcircle at bsky.com. You can follow me there.
And I am Evil Little Bug on Blue Sky. Don't follow me other places. I don't want to use more social media. Don't make me use Instagram, please. I don't want to.
God, I've been debating with myself to ask this dumb joke question, but now I'm going to do it.
Fire it off.
Where's the big bug?
The big bug?
Well, you're evil.
Yeah, if there's an evil if there's an evil little bug, is there an evil big bug or good big bug?
Of the Devil has seen some big bugs.
Oh, the Devil has had some big bugs at times.
Yeah. Never forget the floating fish.
Floating fish in the Akaria Gardens. The original version that we put out on itch was searching for the camera on every frame in order to adjust the character's shadow.
Makes it run really good.
That was good. The biggest bug is the amount of space that Evil Little Bug takes up in our hearts.
Aww. And in your storage space. The spreads are big.
There you go. Yeah, you're...
Ah, the storage space. It's all sprites, everybody, all right?
It's my fault. It's my fault.
It's
I did
textures.
I did it.
Textures take up space, and it's all sprites.
Wait, yeah, blame it on the ones that aren't here. It's it's the 3D guys' fault.
3D guys. Every time we put in an optimization, they put more underneath the map. There's just a bunch of mirrors looking at each other that ups the
And rippling water,
rippling water and high detail shadows.
all that good stuff.
The official announcement from Nth Circle is we want to just make your computer run so hot with our indie visual novel.
That's right.
All right, well, and then, just in case you want to continue to follow us on Gamesline, we are gamesline.net on the internet as well as on Blue Sky. The average following stuff, we got our Discord server and all that stuff. You can find that on the website. And if you thought I was cool, you can follow me on Blue Sky at john.gamesline.net.
Yay!
That would be nice.
Gamesline is cool.
Thank you, though, for... Oh,
if you're interested in games journalism, that isn't just how to find the Tonberry and FF7 remake, which is important work. But
you guys were one of the first to write about Of the Devil, so if you're interested in finding more cool shit like Of the Devil, you should be reading Gamesline.
Thank you. Honestly, seriously, thank you for that. That means a lot. But yes, thank you for your time, and thank you all for listening. We will try to do more interviews soon,
Yay.
And I'm extremely excited for more from your team and for the rest of the Devil.
Ooh, me too.
thank you. Excited to get it out there.